Very few people in America, a very small percentage of the American population, ever even begins a martial arts program. And of those people that do, only a few seriously set the goal to become a black belt one day. And of the people that set the goal to become a black belt one day, a lesser few demonstrate the focus and discipline and perseverance and the rest of the qualities that it takes to truly become a black belt. And then an even smaller select group goes on to advanced degrees, and a few elite even to master level in the martial arts. Some of your peers have done that, and some of your peers are going to do it this weekend too.
The benefits with the training aren't always displayed in front of you, but over time you'll realize how this has changed your life, and you'll be grateful for it. Right? It won't happen overnight. It's going to take a while because it'll just open your eyes. I mean, I've been doing this stuff 12, 14 years, and I still wake up some days I'm like, wow, I'm doing pretty good. So with all that being said, I'd like to thank Grandmaster for allowing me to come into the school, kind of transfer in. It did help that he knows all my instructors from Connecticut, which still blows my mind. I'd also like to thank Shihan Harley, Diego, and Sensei Winston specifically, working with me, getting me ready for everything, making sure I'm at the KMA standard. And of course, Sensei Sarah, Sensei Mac, and Sensei Kyle for putting up with all my mistakes. Thank you.
Each of these principles is important, but they are all separate. Humility is the bonding that holds them all together. Humility is not allowing pride to overshadow our behavior and become arrogance. It is a quality in which you do not think you are better than others. The law of the process exemplifies this principle. Everyone progresses at their own pace. Those further ahead must never forget they were once there too, and always be willing to help others complete their journey. Nowhere is that more noticeable than during the 12 weeks leading up to Black Belt test. During this time, the current Black Belts help prepare the junior ranks for their test. Just as they helped prepare me for mine, I stepped into that same role to help the probationary candidates for theirs. Doing so has helped me better understand what drives me to hold myself to a higher standard, given me the confidence I will need to become a sensei, and has helped me refine my technique and understanding the principles I will need for my showdown. This is my next step on the journey to a second-degree black belt, sensei, and master instructor. While it is not my journey, it's not one being made alone. Many people have helped along the way. First, the Sheen, Carolyn, and Sensei Ben, for all the private lessons to help improve my technique and teaching. Sensei Sarah and Sensei Mac, for always expecting more from me than I realize I am capable of. Sensei Charlie, Rocco, and Aiden Spenceley, for being good training partners. And Sensei Chris, for all the extra training and for helping me prepare for my testing. And finally, Grandmaster for everything he does. If I could say anything to my white belt self or any other junior student, it would be this. It isn't about the belt, it's about discovering who you are along the way.
From the beginning, I did my first class with Shihan Harley. I learned something new, I had fun, and I got an excellent workout. I enjoyed it very, very much, and enjoying it made me want to come back. As I continued, I got better and better, because I never quit. God willing, I'll never have to use any of it. I've learned how to punch, kick, and defend myself. As I've trained at KMA, I've become more flexible and much more strong. You see, the punching and the kicking are awesome, but not the most important skills. The most important parts are the lessons they teach at KMA, such as self-discipline, focus, kanai, and the law of the process. Unlike self-defense, I get to use these things in everyday life. First off, self-discipline. It gets the job done, helps me and others, and has made me a more faithful person. Focus. This has been a great tool in my life to make me smarter, know more, and best of all, I set the example of having focus to others. Focus has helped me a lot with school as well. Third off, kanai. This is an acronym that stands for constant, never-ending improvement. This helps me develop excellence in anything I do, helps me not be bored with what I am doing, and when I become great, I can be even greater. The last lesson I mentioned was the law of the process. Let me give you an example of the law of the process. When I was in my basic class, I was just learning kickboxing set 1. Grandmaster asked us if we wanted to see it full speed. We said yes. He put on focus mitts, and she and Harley did it full speed. At that moment, I thought to myself, how cool, impressive, so strong, and so fast. A little after that, in my basic class, my mom and I watched the intermediate class saying, we're going to be in that class one day. Not long ago, when I just got my probationary black belt, Grandmaster asked me to demonstrate kickboxing sets 1 through 7. Just as she and Harley got to demonstrate for my basic class, I got to demonstrate for this basic class. That is the law of the process. My basic class was just learning kickboxing set 1. The intermediate class was a little better. My demo was better than my white belt self, and she and Harley was way better. The law of the process has helped me make goals and see how far I have come. 2nd degree black belt as an instructor is my goal here at Blackbelt Martial Arts. I want to be just like all of my encouraging instructors for whom I am grateful.
Nobody's gonna hurt you here. At this place, you might think or you feel the pressure, but in the back of your mind, you know you're safe and you're not gonna get hurt. So be glad it's somebody like me that will snatch you up and whip you around, because I'm not gonna hurt you. Once they find out or realize that they're safe, they're willing to train with me, and I like that. And then on the flip side, because you're better or bigger, don't take advantage of it. I've been guilty of it, been pulled to the side and spoke because I wasn't aware that I was doing it. Seriously, I was not. But it took time and effort for me to be able to exercise that control or learn that control. So I can grab you, and we did it with Nathan yesterday. I grabbed him, but I let him know first he's gonna be okay. And when I grabbed him, his dad says, I saw his eyes. Okay? But he should know he's gonna be okay. I would never hurt anybody here on purpose. Nobody. Unless you hit me in my head. Because we all have our injuries. Well, some of us do, us older people. And that's one of the reasons why I had to stop before. But I would also like to thank, not anyone specific, I'd like to thank all my masters, my instructors, everybody that I've trained with, period. Some people have moved on from the dojo, but everybody that I've ever trained with has made me the martial artist that I am today. Thank you.
One of my favorite things about KMMA is the fact that people don't harshly judge a mistake, but instead use constructive criticism to help improve a person. Consequently, this encourages making improvements without damaging our pride. This has been an impactful influence on me, and I often find myself trying to use constructive criticism in everyday life. Before Krav, I would often lash out at people who were doing something wrong and therefore make them feel terrible. But now I realize that constructive criticism is the way to maintain a relationship while making life better for everyone.
Yes, I can. For some reason, whenever I personally use them during a task, I feel empowered. I observe how I have incredible motivation and an urge to conquer what seems too hard to do. I also notice that it triggers emotions from people within seconds. This emotion varies, but the most common include annoyance, motivation, or excitement. For example, if one of my siblings say that they can't do something, I will ask them, what are the 3 most powerful words? Rolling their eyes. They'll either get super annoyed with me or have a sudden drive knowing that they can do exactly it. But of course, it always depends on the situation. But every time that the yes, I can is used and received positively, I discover that it actively develops confidence. Because of this reality, I discovered early in my training as a KMMA student that I would use those 3 words as my anthem. Yes, I can graduate high school. Yes, I can make a daily routine. Yes, I can do 5 more push-ups. It gave me the authority and the power that I needed to become successful in my goals. Also, the saying, yes, I can, trained me, my mind, to have an attitude of winning. No longer was I focusing on just not losing. I am now playing to win. I am trained my mind to have a positive and a confident outlook on life.
So I feel like this place has made me a happier, stronger, definitely more confident person. Doing leadership and CIT, literally getting up there and asking, hey, can I do the student grade at the end of class? That's how I built back up that confidence. If I decided to quit or not come here at all, I would not be the same person. One day, it was a Thursday, I remember it so clearly, it was after class. Sensei Kyle was there. I was just walking to go get my bag and he said, good job, your confidence is really improving since the last time I talked to you. And I was just like, thank you. That really means a lot. It really did. If I was talking to the white belt version of myself, I would say to keep working. Hard times happen, but you have to push through them and it'll get better. Relationships, they take work and you need to work at them if you want them, but it's worth the effort. And otherwise, I don't think I would say that much because just being there and showing how far and what I've done, I think that says a lot. In the end, I feel like Krav has been such an amazing experience and a wonderful opportunity to grow and become the person I want to be. If I had to thank anybody in this room, it'd be everyone here because you all helped me become the person I want to be and pushed me to where I needed to go. What started as something that I just came to after class turned into something completely different and has changed my life. Thank you.
I think that focus, or the ability to concentrate and block out distractions, is the best leadership lesson for me. I mean, I still need a lot of work on it. I'm not perfect. I don't think really anyone is. But I've improved so much from me 8 years ago. It's an honor to have my name on the belt, and I'm looking forward to that. The next goal for me is to take the certified instructor training, so that one day I can become sensei, like all the amazing sensei in our dojo. Like Sensei Kyle, Sensei Ben, Sensei Sarah, and Shihan Harley, wherever he is, and everyone else. Last, I want to thank my family and all the people who helped me get here. For example, my dad and Luna, my sister, for supporting me, and my mom, because she's always helped me in classes, and is my favorite training buddy. I'm also grateful for other training partners and friends like Punya and Gibson. Grandmaster, most important. Thank you for accepting me, and thank you for helping me progress on this journey. Thank you.
Throughout the time that I've been doing martial arts, I found many drills that were hard for me, and I thought I should quit, but I kept going. And to my younger self, I would like to say that even when you feel like you aren't good enough, don't quit and believe in yourself. First, I would like to thank my parents. Over my entire Blackbelt journey, I've had many roadblocks where I felt like quitting, but my parents kept me going and told me to never stop. I would also like to thank all my martial arts instructors who taught me almost everything I know about myself.
I think the biggest thing I take away from Krav is the confidence that I built, and I'll never let that go. One of the quotes drilled into my head is yes, I can. This is a powerful concept in and out of the dojo. Every test I went through, I would give it my all, and those 3 words played on repeat to keep me going. I run a lawn business with my brother, and it's easy to want to give up when you're in the 13th yard in 97-degree weather on an impressive August day in Florida. Those moments are the times when I march the beat of yes, I can. I'll always value the relationships I gained and built through Krav. Sensei Robert and Sensei Ed were an amazing launching pad into the world of martial arts. The one always kept it fun while focusing on technique, and the other provided a hardcore workout to push us to our limits. I'm very thankful for Sensei Kyle and Sensei Sarah's dedicated investment. Kyle always encouraged intensity, and Sarah provided excellent instruction on any skill you would need to work on, but of course was never afraid of giving us extra push-ups. Shihan Harley helped me improve my self-defense skills. Sensei Carolyn gave me valuable instruction on how to lead others, and Sensei Chris was guiding me and gave me a meaningful moral support, as well as being a great friend. I also want to thank Sensei Ben, Sensei Mac, Sensei Ariana, and Sensei Charlie, and of course, Grandmaster for always setting the standard high to help me reach my greatest potential. What I would say to my younger self is it's easy to give up, but life isn't easy. If you choose what's easy, you aren't living. you choose what's easy, you miss out on some of the greatest opportunities and memories of your life. Thank you.
I recognize that having wise people in your life can help you adjust the tiny tweaks will make everything else work properly. Sometimes it feels like you're giving more work, but it's worth it because when you really know how to do something, making friends with good people like senseis can make your life so much better. So I really want to thank Sensei Ed, Sensei Robert, Sensei Sarah, Sensei Kyle, and Sensei Harley and Grandmaster for helping me get to this point. The self-defense attack drills seemed so intimidating at first. I originally thought you could do only defend yourself with like weapons or try to outrun an attacker, but have been trained to use our smarts, thinking really a threat or it's just someone just saying hi. Because I have more confidence now. I know I can control my mind, and over the years I've learned probably 50 techniques. But it wasn't too hard because they taught me step by step. I didn't realize how much I learned until I reached level 3, when I saw on the paper how many different techniques we know. My mind was blown.
My name is Christiana, and I am the littlest of the 7 siblings. Because of this, I got really frustrated sometimes. They can do more than me and stronger than me, and it feels like I will never catch up. MMA was different than I had done before, and a lot harder than it looked. Most of the kids were stronger than me, and I got beat up a lot. But the instructors were friendly and helped me learn different techniques. And, of course, I had lots of brothers and sisters to practice on. They were all very patient with me, and it didn't feel so scary. I discovered that MMA is a fun place to be where everyone gets to meet each other and you can't wait till you get your next fight. My favorite part is when we cheer each other on and rejoice with them at the end of the class because we've worked so hard and learned new things. In the leadership classes, I learned anybody can grow if they want to. You need a good coach to show you how to do things at first, and then you need to work hard and not give up and stay close to the people who help you and guide you on your path. I changed my mindset to get a different goal, so now I'm not worried about being able to keep up with my siblings, because now I'm getting stronger and we've all learned the same things.
Like 4 years ago, I was the shyest, quietest kid in the 11:30 homeschool class. I barely spoke or even had a personality whenever I walked into the dojo. I was there to get in, take my class, and get out. It was simple as that. It's not that I didn't want to be there or that I didn't like Krav. In fact, I loved it. But as an introverted 12-year-old middle child, I found it better if I just stayed on the sidelines and didn't call attention to myself. The reason being that I always felt behind at all times. I was always a step behind, and that's just how it was. I wanted to prove myself in a way that I didn't know how to, and I assumed it would stay like that for the remainder of my training. When I got my Red 3 belt, I built enough confidence, strength, and ability to speak my mind. I started talking to everyone and getting to know them in my classes, making friends, and being overall much more interested and focused on what I was doing, becoming the best version of myself, or so I thought. I practiced at home, worked out in my garage, made myself try to get every technique perfect by doing it so many times, working my absolute hardest to make myself great. I had so much fun doing martial arts, I'd forgotten why I was so shy in the first place. All these new friends, connections, inside jokes, I wasn't that shy little kid anymore, and I was about to be a black belt. This all led up to my phase 1 black belt test, which I'll admit wasn't the best for me overall. Don't get me wrong, the test was amazing. I had so much fun and worked my hardest. It wasn't particularly the test that went wrong, but more so the aftermath. I felt almost empty afterward, which sounds a bit edgy when I said it out loud. However, it didn't feel how I thought it would feel at all. So what had I done wrong? That was the question I kept asking myself after that test. And over time, I realized that the answer is nothing. I hadn't done anything wrong. What was wrong is how I viewed myself, what I thought about myself, how I beat myself up instead of beating up the kicking shield. For everything I had done wrong, I would scold myself. I had done so much work on my physical attributes, the techniques, the combatives. I had forgotten to work on my mental health and how constantly viewing yourself in a negative light can and will take a toll on you. Not in just your training, but in your life every day out of the dojo as well. The very thing messing me up was something I was inflicting onto myself. And I came to terms with that, gradually following that test. It took a long time. All the days I spent giving all my grace away to others, I forgot to give myself even a little bit of it. After that day, this 16-year-old girl, who had spent her entire black belt journey wishing she was somebody else, was now herself. She was finally going to stop dwelling on the approval of others and start working on the approval of herself. From that day forward, I would give myself the grace I would give to anyone else. I would continue to work out in my sweaty garage, continue to work on my techniques at home, preparing me for the test I'm going to take this Sunday. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what a black belt does.
KMMA is the most consistent thing that I have done through the past many years and has been very helpful in learning skills that I would normally not focus on. For instance, Grandmaster teaches us how vital leadership is and how to treat yourselves with respect. In order to be able to lead, you need to first follow good examples. You also need to believe in yourself and what you're capable of, because that shows up in what you teach others. A major concept I've grasped is that before you can respect others, you need to be able to respect yourself. So I started making goals for myself. I find these challenges are powerful and helpful to be able to focus on my work, whether that is completing schoolwork, house chores, or even practicing calling. Mastery directly boosts your confidence, but you must also be aware to stay humble. Learning kickboxing sets was always hard for me. I just didn't like it because it was overwhelmingly frustrating to try and memorize all 7 sets and get them right. But one day at home, when I was bored, so I started doing kickboxing set 1. I did it over and over again until my knuckles were red and almost bleeding. Surprisingly, I figured out that with practice, I could get them down no problem. Humility in receiving correction keeps me looking to improve in other areas as well. I gained a tremendous amount of endurance and found that I can do things much longer than I initially imagined. The first time we did push-ups for 2 minutes, I really wanted to give up. But I thought of my future self as a black belt and realized that nothing comes without hard work. So I consciously chose to push myself through those 2 minutes with more energy than when I started. Learning that muscle memory comes into play with almost everything you do, and now when I perform push-ups in Grandmaster's class, I push myself a little further each time.
If I could just tell my white belt self one word, it'd be try. Try to work harder, persevere more, try to talk more to more people. I feel like I've grown a lot since my first class. I just wish I'd tried a little harder. If I could tell a white belt, any white belt, anything, it'd be to never give up. You'll get there one day. Push yourself to the limit so you can get to this place right here, right now. Because it is one of the greatest feelings ever, getting that black belt wrapped around your waist, because you know you've gotten through it all.
So that's when I sought out Krav Maga martial arts. And the moment that I walked in, I knew what I was looking for. I was looking for a form of self-defense that was no nonsense, very effective and practical, and something that would help me out in the real world. And that's exactly what I found when it came to Krav Maga martial arts. And shortly after my first session, 3 weeks later, I found myself at a Krav camp. And at that point, I had very limited experience with and interactions with then Shihan, now Grandmaster Steve. So after a day of Krav camp and getting run through it, me and him finally got to sit down and have a chat. And I said, "Hey sir, I heard you were in the Army." And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Me too, where were you?" And he said, "I was in the 82nd. And I got really excited. I was like, I was in the 82nd. And what unit were you in, sir? And he said, 2nd of the 504. And I said, I was in the 2nd of 504. And now we're both getting excited here. And then I asked, "Well, what years were you in, sir?" And he said them, and I was like, "Oh, that was before I was born." I could feel his soul coming a little bit out of his chest at that point, but he took it in such great stride. And from the moment I walked in, I knew that I was getting a practical form of self-defense. And when me and him bonded, it was a initial bond of old lion, young lion, and I got that camaraderie. So I've got the camaraderie, I've got the practical form of self-defense. Now, where do I go from here? Why do I continue to come to Krav Maga? It's said that behind any great man or any great feat that is to be accomplished, there's an army of a support channel behind him. And I believe that's very true here. From everyone within the 8 years that I've interacted with, from the moment you meet them, whether they don't know you, inside the dojo and out, they pour all of their knowledge, all of their heart, all of their soul to help you out and succeed in anything that you need. And honestly, I've traveled the world quite a bit. Some of you know my background, and that's very rare. To find an organization like that is extremely rare, and we have it here at Krav Maga Martial Arts. And from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you all that you've given me, and I can't wait to see you guys all take it to the next level. Thank you.
I would also like to give a special thanks to Grandmaster Steve for having the vision of KMA, for the perseverance through the tough times, following his passion and evolving it to what it is today, and for his actionable dreams of what it could be in the future. A place of learning and leadership development, a place where the atmosphere feels more like home and family than just a training facility. But most importantly to me, besides all of the self-defense skills and the self-confidence that comes from these skills instilled in each of us from the training, I've come to realize that the personal value of KMA as a supportive pathway to personal, professional, and leadership development via the goal setting and goal getting strategies. Once I began to actually implement these and acting upon these strategies in my life, I've seen growth both in personal and professional arenas, thus proving goals without actions are just names. But conversely, I'm also coming to believe that dreams and strategies and actions can be attained with goals. With each of these successful personal and professional goals I have set and met, it continues to instill in me a little more self-confidence and a belief that I can do greater things with my life. That in turn leads to new higher goals with timelines and strategies for accomplishing them in place, effectively snowballing the problem.
When I started Krav Maga, I just wanted to be able to walk outside alone or with some friends and not have to worry about anyone hurting them or me. But if I knew about all of the things I would learn here that would physically and mentally prepare me for the real world, I don't think 10-year-old me would be able to comprehend how much of a rare experience that I get to have, that almost nobody in the world, except for us here, get to have. If I had to talk to them, right here, I would say the only way to learn how to socialize is by socializing. And then I would talk to them about turtles and how it sounds cool until you never come out of your shell. Be human again, mentally step back and look at how your life, the people around you, and whatever you're experiencing right now is really like, and maybe you won't have to live in fear of the people that you now consider a second family.
Teaches us that life is 10% what happens and 90% how we react to it. He teaches the principles and techniques of self-control. For example, parry, which means plan, act, review, and improve, which creates canny, and this is constant and never-ending improvement. These tools help us learn from our mistakes so that we can do better than next time, which I am able to use almost every day at school and even at home. I love the self-confidence that the KMA team has developed in me. Classes are always challenging and fun workout. There is always something to improve. I am excited to enter my next chapter of KMA evolution because I know Team KMA is just going to make me better.
Black belt testing, that's why we're all here, right? It's a crucible that creates a shared bond between all who experience it. It's the end of one journey, the start of another, the turning point that reveals the quality of who we are. I understood what those words meant before my provisional black belt essay, or black belt test. In fact, there was one moment at the end that just singularly defined it. It was that after the test had finished, all the adrenaline was starting to fade, Nathan felt sure that he hadn't passed. At that moment, Bob came over, put his arm around Nathan's shoulders, and encouraged him. Looking at it afterward, the phrase that came to mind was this: "We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. For those that shed, he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother." That line invokes the feeling of camaraderie that we've all talked about, courage, and that shared bond of brotherhood. Our training creates those same feelings. We often say the dojo is our home away from home. The people we train with become like a second family to us. Our weekly training forms one family. The black belt test forges another one, a band of brothers. The journey to becoming a black belt requires tremendous personal strength, both physical and mental. We've all trained hard to get here, uncovered our inner dragons, and faced them. For some of us, the presentation itself is that dragon. For others, it's the self-reflection required. For others, it's the physical exertion that you need. And for others, it's their moment to shine. Whatever our dragons may be, we've never had to face them alone. That support is never more visible than it is during testing. No matter what's going on, what battle we might be fighting, no matter how exhausted we might be, we're always there for each other when we need to be.
In life, there will be serious things that happen, serious things that cause serious stress. And sometimes they're serious problems that we caused, and sometimes they're serious problems that we had nothing to do with. Sometimes they're just even imposed upon us by the world in which we live. But just like the stress test, in the stress test, what you learn to do is be oblivious to the distractions of the circumstances, and only to focus on the part of it that you can control, on what you can do to improve your situation. The ability to do that in real life is what separates the leaders from everyone else. And as you look around our world right now today, you can tell the people that have developed that, and you can tell the people that haven't at every single level. Am I right? And one of the most important things that we do is make sure that you're going to be in the group that has. And that's going to be something notable that people realize. They go, wow, you were the calm in the storm. And then there's one last thing, one last benefit that is not as obvious. But it is already to people that have been around here long enough. You will develop a community and a family that is always there for you. A knighthood, a band of brothers and sisters that when the dragons and demons come in the night, are there to slay them with you.